All right, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome everyone to this September Tour Tuesday. Thank you for joining us for our United Way of Greater Nashville's virtual Tour Tuesday. My name is Victoria Quigley and I'm a senior manager with United Way's workplace engagement team. And I have the great pleasure of working with our Tour Tuesday series this month. As you probably heard, Tour Tuesday is an opportunity for folks to get an inside look at the great work happening in our community through United Way's partner agencies. For fellow nonprofit staff, this is a great way to learn about other service providers and programs that might be beneficial to your own clients. And for those that are looking to get involved, it can be a great way to hear about current volunteer and engagement opportunities. And for our United Way donors, who we appreciate so much, this is a fantastic opportunity to hear from the agencies who are putting your dollars to work in the community. While we do hope to one day soon be together again for our in-person tours, we're happy to continue with this virtual series. Each tour features agencies from across the greater Nashville region as we come together to discuss current community conditions. During today's tour, we'll be discussing how these partners provide quality childcare, which prepares children for successful futures. We have the great privilege of being joined by representatives from 3 different agencies in our community. Today, you'll have the opportunity to hear from the McNeilly Center for Children, Community Child Care Center, and St. Mary Villa Child Development Center. At the end of today's session, attendees will have the opportunity to ask questions to our panelists through the Q&A box, so please hold on to those great questions until the end. So at this time, I'd like to go ahead and introduce our fantastic agency representatives to let them tell you a little bit more about their respective agency and what services they provide in our community. Let's start with Tara Blue. Tara is the Executive Director of Community Child Care Center. Tara, welcome and thank you for joining us.
Hi, how are you all? Good to be here. I'm very privileged to be able to talk about community childcare. This year is our 50th birthday, so we are celebrating 50 years of serving families here in the Franklin area. And community childcare was founded by a group of church women that saw a great need for affordable childcare and for working families. So whether if you're in school or if you're working, they wanted to be able to make sure the kids had a safe place to go and to be nurtured and loved on and to reach their academic achievements. So we're grateful to be here and also to be able to receive the funding and the support from United Way. And from my understanding, we've been partnering with United Way for almost 30 plus years. I was able to fill the shoes of Hattie Baines, who was the director here for 45 years. So this is going on my 5th year. So we're going strong. You know, COVID, took a lot of our families away, but now we're building back up and I'm grateful for that. Our families here, more than half receive assistance from Department of Human Services through their daycare vouchers. So we kind of have a good mix, being able to show children the value of learning how to get along with people from all walks of life and to just appreciate everyone and how they're created, regardless of their home background or where they live or what kind of clothes they wear. We make sure we treat everyone the same. And when you walk in our doors, we show love and kindness to everyone. So I'm grateful to be on here today. We are a 3-star center. We work really hard to make sure we maintain our 3 stars and make sure that we're providing these kids with a quality education. So pretty much what I would like to do is show a video of kind of the day inside of one of our classrooms. And I'm hoping that you will enjoy that. And I'm going to go ahead and, well, I had it up here. That always happens, right? Okay, it's coming. Okay, here we go. Okay.
Doesn't look like we can hear any sound. Do you have sound?
Oh, you can't hear?
Nope.
You can't hear anything?
I did not.
Okay, what about now? No.
Oh, I think so. I think it just might need to be a little bit louder on the volume.
Can you hear?
Still needs to be a little bit louder, I think.
Okay. Sorry. Well, maybe should I stop it since you can't hear it?
Yeah, unfortunately, unless there's a way on your computer to increase the volume, you can just barely hear it.
Okay, I'll just stop it. Okay, let me stop share. Well, oh well for that. But anyway, we are trying to put my picture back on. We are grinding every day to try to get back to where we were before pre-COVID, and our numbers are coming back around. We're just still trying to make sure that we keep the children safe and the parents safe, and we still wear our mask every day, taking temperatures and just trying to make sure we stay in here so our parents can go to work and go to school every day. Like I said before, this is our 50th year, and we're very excited. We celebrated with a drive-by parade in May, and we have some more activities planned for the fall and the winter months. And so we are very grateful to be able to stay open. We did close for a few weeks back in March and April of last year. Had a few cases of COVID, but for the most part, we've been able to pretty much stay open for the last year. So we are grateful for what we're doing and have the privilege to serve and love on these children during these difficult times.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tara. And I think you have to get going, but there was one question. You had mentioned that your organization is a 3-star center. Could you just give us a little bit of context as to what that means?
Yeah, so that there's a report card that first of all, you don't have to be a part of the STAR quality program, but if you are, you receive extra funds. Department of Human Services they have rules and regulations that you have to follow, but being a part of the 10-star quality program, you're kind of like the cream of the crop of the daycares and the early enrichment centers to say, I'm going to go above and beyond what's asked for me to do. That means smaller classroom sizes, the ratios are a little smaller, professional development, encouraging the teachers to go back to school and go to college to get their CDAs or their associate's degree. I'm looking at the report card now. Staff compensation, how many, what are we doing for our staff to keep them here and to keep them invested into our center? Parent involvement. So there's like 7 or 8 criteria that are on the report card. And when you score within those areas, they come and assess your center, make sure that you have enough enrichment and resources for your kids. And then they average all of that. And then you receive a report card, which places you either as a 1-star, a 2-star, or a 3-star.
Amazing. Well, that's certainly not an easy feat. Mm-hmm. So thank you for all of your hard work.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on. We've got a couple of Alyssas on the call. So I'm going to move on to Alyssa Garnett, who is the Executive Director of St. Mary Villa Child Development Center. Would you like to tell us a little bit more about your organization?
Sure. My name is Alyssa Garnett Arno. I'm the Executive Director of St. Mary Villa. St. Mary Villa has been a part of the Nashville community for over 100 years. It started as an orphanage and then quickly in the 70s switched over to childcare primarily for St. Thomas at that time. And then it became public per se in the 80s. And we used to be located on White Bridge Road. And in the last 5 years, we've moved to North Nashville. So this is our 5th year in North Nashville. And we serve families from all over. We have families that come from Fairview, from Burns, that come into Nashville because we're right very close to downtown. And we have families that are in the 37208 zip code, and we have families that are throughout Nashville. So we serve a wide variety of families. All of our families fall on, we provide childcare on a sliding fee scale. So if you make $10,000 a year or $300,000 a year, your childcare fee is based on what your family can afford. We do accept childcare assistance through the state of Tennessee. And so that is very helpful for a lot of our families. And our demographic here is very vast. More than 50% of our families fall on the scale somewhere. The other portion of our families pay the top rate. And our culture here is very vast as well. We serve families from all different backgrounds and all different types of families, and that's what makes St. Mary Villa very special. So
amazing, thank you. We've had quite a few events at St. Mary Villa over the years, and it's just been wonderful to see what you all do. Let's move on to Alyssa DeTuro, who is the Executive Director of the McNeilly Center for Children. Alyssa, do you want to tell us a little bit about McNeilly?
Sure. Thanks, Victoria. McNeilly is celebrating its 105th year this year of providing childcare in this exact same spot in East Nashville. And we're super proud of that. And we don't plan on moving from McFerrin Park. We sit on 5 acres, and we are so blessed to have a beautiful monarch garden, domesticated chickens, and truly just some of the best staff. All of our teachers have their degrees and work really hard. We are also 3-star rated and then nationally accredited through NACCE. And we're so thankful for our United Way partnership. It helps us get a lot of things done for our families. Out of our families, 99% qualify for free childcare through the state of Tennessee. And so we don't have a very wide varying demographic. Our families really need us so they can go to job training and go to school. We have a lot of single families, people that are in crisis, unhoused. And so the work that we get to do here it's incredible and it's crucial. And we could not do it without partners like the United Way.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Well, thank you all for sharing about your organizations and the incredible services that you provide to our community. I think we can all agree that a nurturing childcare environment improves a child's ability to learn and thrive. So I know you touched on it a little bit, but could each of you spend a few minutes talking about how, as well as caring for children, your agency provides additional support to families in our community? Alyssa DeTuro, I know you mentioned where you're at with the community in McFerrin Park. Can you just talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. So within McNeilly, we have what we call the Family Empowerment Program. And so our enrollment director and our family empowerment coach work together when families come in to help them meet their main goals that they set. So whether that's setting up a checking account, re-enrolling in school, saving some money. They get to enroll in the 10-week course of parenting classes and gain some really awesome skills. And then also along with that, they get to do cooking classes that teach them how to use their money the best way. We're also starting a father empowerment group this year. We have a lot of single fathers, and we really want them to be supported. And then families that don't qualify for family empowerment can just work with our family engagement specialists to ensure that they're getting their needs met. For us, especially with the community that we serve, it's crucial that we're making sure that we're respectful of adverse childhood experiences and the things that our families are going through. And so just making sure that we can be that support for them and having the resources that they need.
Amazing. Thank you. And Alyssa, Garnett, Arno, I know St. Mary Villa does so much too for the community besides just childcare. So could you expand on that a little bit more?
Yeah. So we also participate in the Family Empowerment Program through United Way, as well as Read to Succeed. So Read to Succeed is a great an addition to our curriculum that we provide for our children. And so it helps them with social emotional awareness of themselves, as well as teaching parents how to deal with social emotional. Children have big emotions, and as you know, if families are coming from adverse things outside, whether it's they're homeless or they don't have enough money to pay the bills or those sorts of things, everything, if you're in survival mode, you don't know how to be in control of your emotions, and your parenting is not the best at that time because you're not in control of your own emotions. So we teach our families how to work with their emotions as well as work with their children's emotions. And using language that helps them to get through those big emotions and help everybody be supported. The greatest thing with our United Way programs that we participate in is the social capital that all of our families get, whether they are a low-income family or a family, that is able to do all the things they need to do. So they are able to, have events that, United Way funds help to support, that they can come and be together in a group. Obviously COVID has put a little bit of a damper on that. We've had to think outside the box. But that is the biggest thing that I think our community at St. Mary Villa thrives on, is the fact that our social events, so that families know who their children are playing with, parents know their children's friends' parents, so that when you get invited to a birthday party, you know who you're going to hang out with for 4 hours. And it also just allows them to talk about and share about the things that their children are doing in a space that's familiar for everybody. And it's supported by everybody. And so those are, Read to Succeed and the Family Empowerment Program provide funding for our families on multiple levels. But those things, we wouldn't be able to do the social things that we do and help the families through the things that we do if we didn't have this funding.
Incredible. And social capital is something that we don't talk about as often as we should. It's so important for our families to feel supported and have a network around them. And thank you so much for both of you for providing those wraparound services. So, you sort of mentioned it just now, touched on it, Alyssa, as our greater Nashville community adjusts in response to COVID and your agencies continue serving children and their families, what are some of the silver linings you're seeing, and how have you sort of adapted to create those silver linings and to make sure that you're continuing to still succeed? And what are some hopes that you have for your organization that you can achieve by the end of the year? I'll go back to you, Alyssa, at St. Mary Villa, to talk a little bit about that.
Sure. So we've been lucky in the sense that COVID hasn't affected us dramatically. We never closed, at the beginning of the pandemic, and we've closed a couple of days here and there just to give everybody a breather and do some deep cleaning and make sure everybody is as safe as possible. But that's, minor in comparison in the fact that, some centers had to close for months or 2 months or those sorts of things. We provide essential services. A lot of our families work at Vanderbilt, St. Thomas. We have firefighters, police officers that send their children here, school teachers, and they can't be moms and dads during the day when the community needs them. So we have been open the whole time. We actually expanded in the middle of the pandemic. We increased our capacity. We went from 99 to 205, and we're still working on reaching that capacity. But I feel like if we didn't have that support from United Way, we wouldn't have been able to do all the things that we've needed to do for the community at this time. The silver lining is that parents, even though they can't come in the building right now, we still don't allow our families in the building. They are able to still connect with the parent, teachers, and those sorts of things through the app. We have an app and we have digital access for the families. The other thing is that, our staff, we're not like a lot of centers. Our staff has been here 30 years. The majority of our staff has been. So we're serving second and third generations within the Nashville community. And that is a big thing. So our program, yes, we do marketing, but our biggest marketing is our parents, their word of mouth that, sends families here. And it continues to build even through a pandemic. Parents haven't been in this building for 1.5 years, and they're still sending people to us. So the trust that they instill in us just speaks volumes to our program, to my staff, and to the children and the things that we teach them on a daily basis and are able to be a part of their, it takes a village, and we're just the small part of that village. So.
Thank you. And Alyssa Turturro, do you want to share any silver linings, any ways that you've adjusted during COVID times?
Yeah, absolutely. Similar. We've never closed. The reality is that a lot of our families are essential. And so it was crucial for us to remain open to, one, create that safe space and continuity of care. When the pandemic started, a lot of things were scary for our families. But knowing who was going to take care of your children wasn't. And so making sure that they had that safe space to land. Like Alyssa said, I have staff that work here that came here as children. We've got grandchildren and great grandchildren enrolled. And it's an honor that you are trusting us during these crazy times without not being able to even come in, right? You're getting pictures and videos and app communication. But two, just one, our partnership with United Way has been so long, and you've been able to help us do this work. And it's, it's exciting that we get to see the same families come through. I think one of the silver linings is that a lot of our parents that are more, everybody has different personalities. And so we've really adjusted a lot of our familial events to online as well. And so we've seen a lot more participation from families that we might not always get to see, either because they're busy or, right, being in a crowd of other parents is not everybody's jam. And so we're definitely going to keep this like kind of hybrid model for our family things to make sure we're getting access to as many as we can.
Amazing. Thank you. So the pandemic has obviously shown our community that high quality, affordable, and accessible childcare is an essential service, and we need an appropriately compensated and highly trained early education workforce to sustain it. The Blueprint for Early Childhood Success is a group advancing our community through literacy justice. As viewers of this webinar, if you'd like to delve deeper into this issue, I'm including a link in the chat to the Blueprint website, and the Early Educator Landscape Report is located under Research Reports. For any questions regarding this report, you can reach out to Apri Gassaway. Her contact information is located in that report. And coming next month, there will be another opportunity to dive into the Early Education Report and learn about local efforts to address longstanding challenges. And we'll be sending an email with that information as well. So at this point, I know a lot of information has been shared, and some of our attendees are going to might have questions for the group or a specific panelist. So at this point, feel free to submit your questions, and we'll use those next few minutes to get through as many as we can. So I know one question came in while you both were speaking, and I know you talked about this generational trust in your organizations. You've had probably brothers and maybe even potentially parents that have attended your centers. Is there anything that you do to keep up with the children that you serve? Do they hear how the kids are doing in school post attending with you all? So why don't we start with Alyssa DeTuro at McNeilly?
Yes. So one thing that we've started, and I am newer at McNeilly this year, and so, but one thing that we've started is a pen pal program for our littles that have gone off and left us, so we can stay connected with them, and then encouraging their families to stay involved with our parent advisory committees, and making sure that they know that just because you no longer attend McNeilly, we're still here and a resource for you. Through Blueprint Nashville, we are a teacher pipeline, and then we also are part of the re-enrollment process with Metro Nashville to, call and connect with families who maybe aren't enrolled or not attending well. And so it's not just for 4 years or 5 years that you're with us. It's really important for us to know, for our families to know that we are a true resource for whatever you may need.
Amazing. And Alyssa with St. Mary Villa?
So right now we, I probably have 10 families enrolled that are, they came here as children and now they have their littles here, and sort of they follow the footprint and the path that their parents did. Another way that we reach out to previous enrolled families is times when we need volunteers. They're more than happy to come back and read to the classrooms, or their children are at the age where they can now read. So they'll come in and read to the kids. It allows them to come back and say hi to teachers and familiar faces, but as well as, be a part of the community and serve, somewhere that serve their families. So we try to involve them as best we can. We invite them to events when we can, just so that we can keep expanding our St. Mary Villa family.
That's wonderful. And it looks like we've had Tara rejoin us. Tara, some of the questions that we've been asking, we'd love to hear your perspective from Community Child Care Center. So one question we had was, in addition to caring for children, your agency provides additional support to families in our community. Could you talk a little bit more about that?
Sure. I'm sure the other directors on here can attest to that. You're not only the director, you become a counselor and mom, And it's, nonprofit work is not easy work. It's not for the weak. Right. You come in and you kind of have to start every day anew. But yeah, it's tough work, but it's rewarding. What we've started as well, we have a computer lab where we invite the parents to come in. Because of COVID, it's been a little slow, but where they can come in, use the laptops, apply for jobs, use our printer, scanner, Wi-Fi, because we always, we assume that they have those things at home, and a lot of times they don't. So we try to make sure that we are providing opportunities for parents. We were awarded a grant this year where we could help parents pay for rent or pay for help them with food and gas and other things that they need to survive. So it's really trying to make sure that, these kids are our children. We didn't birth them here, but what we pour into them here, when they go home, if they don't have that same love and protection, it's really, we really need to work together as a team. So I always try to build that relationship with the parents, because first they have to trust you before they kind of start sharing with you some of their needs, and that you're not being judgmental. And so where you kind of give some of your own life stories, they kind of open up a little bit more, and you kind of watch them go through life and their journey. And when they graduate or they get that job that they've been wanting, we all cheer them on because we're excited about their progress. So but what I am learning, because I want to pour into these families, I'm empty nesters, my husband and I. We have grown children now, sometimes until they fly back home. And so what I'm trying to learn too is that as a director, we have to keep our cups full, because we pour out so much every day, excuse me, that when I go home, I need to be able to laugh and hug and have fun with my husband, because we give so much. And, we work more than 8 hours. During COVID, sometimes I work 11 hours a day, because the way that we bring kids in and the way that they go home, we don't allow the parents to come through the building yet. So there's been a lot of extra work on our staff. So I would just say, the parents know that we care about them, that we're invested into them, and that we feel like they can come in our doors and share with us what's going on, and we try to help and do what we can do. But you got to also take care of yourself, for you kind of drown in it.
Oh yeah, I think that's a trap that many nonprofit workers fall into, is not taking care of yourself. And so you got to put the mask on yourself before you can put the mask on others and help everyone out. And you touched on it a little bit. COVID certainly was a strain. Do you have any silver linings that have come out of COVID? Any positives that have come out of it, or are you looking forward to the day when things sort of return to some normalcy, or however close to normal we can get?
Is that for anybody?
That's for you.
Okay. I'm very grateful for our teachers. They stuck in here. They, most of them have been vaccinated pretty well. Our full-time teachers have, they could have stayed home, and some of them could have stayed home and made more money off of receiving unemployment. And so I've told my board, we got to make sure we reward them and thank them for their determination and their consistency. Because some daycares shut their doors. Some of them did not open back up, and some of them gave their teachers unemployment packets, or, whatever you do, give severance pay. And I'm grateful that we didn't have to do that. So I would say I have seen our staff grow immensely through believing in what we do here. And you've got to love kids. You got to love what you do to come in here every day and not make a ton of money, but it's a calling on your life. And I make sure that I try to give them that credit and let them know how much they're appreciated, because I don't take them for granted.
Wonderful. Thank you. And one of our listeners, Monica, said, thank you all for what you do. And this is a question to the whole group. Are your services open for non-English speakers? And why don't we start with Alyssa Garnett from St. Mary?
Yes. So we, not just only non-English speakers, but as far as St. Mary Villa is concerned, we have children who leave us in the middle of the day and go to Metro to receive services as well. So that's something, doesn't matter whether you can be here all day or you need to go somewhere to get a little bit of extra assistance, then, we make it work and figure it out. So that's, that just makes us who we are. Not everybody can speak English and not everybody learns the same way that we all do. So that's a big part of our, our daily life here at St. Mary Villa. So
that's great. Thank you. And Alyssa at McNeilly.
Yes, we have several Spanish speakers on site that can help families that need services in that way. But then we also have interpreter services for Somali and Arabic as well, because those are two common languages that we hear. So we try to make sure our interpreter is ready. So yes, you do not have to be English speaking to receive services here.
Great, thank you. And to round it out, Tara.
Yes, we have a teacher here that helps us. So we really try to make sure. Sometimes I have to pull my phone out and translate and do the best I can. But we don't turn anyone away, although we're not as fluent, but we make sure that we're here to serve everybody, no matter what their language is.
Great. Thank you for the inclusivity. All right. One last question we had, and we've heard such great work that you all do. People want to get involved. What type of volunteer opportunities do you all have? So we'll start with Alyssa DeTuro from McNeilly.
Yes, so we have several ways that volunteers can currently work with us while we're still keeping everybody as safe as possible. One of the easiest ways that volunteers can help us is recording themselves reading stories. Our children love visitors, and right now Nashville Public Library is our only on-site in-person reader. And our staff. And so we would love to have some recorded stories, especially in some other languages, in Spanish speakers, especially since it's Hispanic Heritage Month and we're trying to celebrate as much as we can here. We need lots of outside help. So any of my green thumbed people that are listening, we would very much love you to come visit us and help us outside a little bit. And then we also just have some smaller, it just depends. Sometimes people email us and say, I'm passionate about organizing, and so there's not a wrong way to help volunteer, if that makes sense. I don't think that Tara or Alyssa would, anytime someone says like, we want to help, we'll figure it out, whatever it is.
Right. Yeah. And you can't turn away good help. Yeah.
No.
Tara, are there ways that anyone else can get involved with your organization?
I would say for right now, there's some companies in the past that have come to paint or help us with repairs on the weekend. So we're always up for that. We always need a fresh paint job somewhere around the building. But hopefully, we're kind of waiting till the numbers go down a little bit more before we have our weekly volunteers. So when that does happen, you can give us a call at Community Child Care. We're located in Franklin, Tennessee. And we like for readers to come by to read to the children. Some of the younger teenagers from the United Way would come and make gingerbread houses with the kids and tie-dye shirts. And so we're always open to that. And so just praying for a healthy winter so we can fully open our doors back up, because we love having volunteers.
Amazing. Thank you. And Alyssa with St. Mary Villa.
So just like everybody else said, we love readers. We love people that are willing to come in and, cut out things for the teachers and any extra hands that they can have cleaning and organizing and just being a part of the classroom. Obviously with COVID, we've have adjusted that a little bit. Other things that we look for, if you have a child in your family that's outgrown clothes, you have an infant and they're no longer an infant and now they're a toddler and they don't need a bouncy seat and they don't need an exerciser and they don't need those things. We do take those things as well. So it doesn't necessarily have to be volunteer, like in the building, volunteering your time. If there are things that, if you're going through books or extra toys and you don't need them anymore and you'd like to find a good home for them, St. Mary Villa will definitely take those things. So, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to give your time, but, there's other ways you can help us as well.
Great. Thank you. All right, so if we don't have any other questions, I know maybe you have further questions and you want to reach directly out to one of our presenters, you are more than welcome to do that. Each attendee will receive a follow-up email with my contact information, as well as the contacts of the agency representatives from today's tour. So please feel free to follow up with any of us for more information. Thank you again to Alyssa, Tara, and Alyssa for taking time to be with us today. I know I speak for all of us in this virtual space that we're so grateful for the work that you've done and continue to do at a time when the community needs you more than ever. United Way is so grateful to be a partner and supporter of your work. I also want to send a thank you to all of our attendees who joined us today. Thank you for your time that you've devoted to our community today and for your year-round support of United Way. This work could not happen without you. We hope that you'll join us again for Tour Tuesday. Information for our next tour in October will be posted soon on United Way's Get Involved website page. Thank you again and have a great week.